People love to say $1 million is the magic number for retirement, but there is a problem. $1 million today won't buy the retirement you think it will. Retire too early without a plan and you could be broke long before you're gone. But don't panic just yet, because I'm about to show you exactly what $1 million really gets you in retirement and how quickly real clients have walked away from the workplace once we put a proper plan in place. It's your favourite Scotsman here again, and today we're going to watch me retire someone in real time. Meet Sally Rogers. Now, the name's been changed for confidentiality, but the numbers, they're very real. In fact, we see cases like this all the time in our office. Sally is 60 years old. She's single, she's worked hard her whole life, and now she's sitting on exactly $1 million. The big question, can she finally hand in her notice this month? Here's what that million actually looks like. No fat government pension, no lucky lottery ticket, just her own savings built the slow, steady way. RRSP, TFSA, and a bit of non-reg. And like most people at this stage, Sally's asking the only question that really matters. Is it enough? So, let's put $1 million to the test. We ran projections and assumed a 5% return for a balanced investment strategy, 2% inflation, and a life expectancy to 95. Pretty standard assumptions. And here's what it showed. Sally can sustainably pull just over 58 grand a year after tax for life. Not bad, but our goal was 64 grand a year. And at that spending level, the money runs out at age 87. So, bottom line, $1 million gets her close, but not quite there. Retire today without any adjustments, and she's looking at a shortfall of about $5,700 a year. By the way, if you're sitting there trying to figure out whether your own number is enough, grab my free retirement guide. It's linked in the pinned comment below. It'll give you a good idea of what to keep an eye on for in your own planning. Okay, back to it. And here's the good news. Retirement planning isn't a yes or no exam. It's more like trial and error. Test a few paths, see what works, and sometimes toss out what doesn't. And that's precisely what happened with Sally. First, we looked at her spending. Sally's goal was 64 grand a year. She drops down after age 75 to just over 51 grand a year. The plan works. But when I showed her that number, she hesitated. She said, "Chris, 51,000 feels a little light. That's not the retirement I've been working for." And honestly, I agreed with her. It keeps the lights on, but it doesn't feel comfortable. Then we tested delaying CPP until 70. Now, this one will probably ruffle a few feathers in the comments. The pros, more guaranteed income that rises with inflation, less pressure on the portfolio. Sounds good, right? Except not for Sally. For her, it means burning through our portfolio in the early years just to make up the gap. And the result, the money still runs out by age 88. So, she gets less flexibility and more reliance on the government. And in exchange, her plan lasts 1 extra year. Some people may like that trade, but let's be honest, it's hardly ideal. So, what does work? Well, we then shifted options to ones that really move the needle. First, part-time work. Sally spent most of her career in project management. She's not looking for another full-time grind, but she could easily pick up the odd consulting contract. We modelled $53,000 a year for 4 years. That's it. It takes the pressure off her portfolio and gives her the freedom to retire now without compromise. And then there's the big one, the GTA card. Downsizing. Sally's sitting in a 4-bedroom home worth well over $1 million. If she sells at 80 and frees up a modest $341,000, she's golden. She downsizes more aggressively and invests over $750,000. She not only funds her retirement, but she still has 870 grand left at age 95. Now, we found strategies that work for Sally, but even with a solid plan, we've got to stress test it. Because retirement isn't lived in spreadsheets, it's lived in the real world. And the real world likes to throw curveballs. First, inflation. Everyone worries about it, and for good reason. If inflation runs at 3% instead of 2%, Sally's plan takes a hit. She'd enjoy her 64 grand a year until 75. After that, her sustainable spending drops to about 43,000 a year. That's a pretty steep haircut. Next, longevity. What if Sally doesn't live to 95, but makes it to 100? Great for her health, tougher on the portfolio. In that scenario, she can only sustain about 48,000 a year after 75. And here's where I need to be blunt. I can't tell you how many times I've had clients sit across from me and say, "Chris, I don't need to plan past 85 or 90. I won't be around that long." And every time I push back, because people are living longer than ever. I've seen clients at 95, even 100, and still be sharp as a tack. And the sad part, the ones who plan too short spend their last years stressed out about money instead of actually enjoying them. Planning to 85 might feel safe, but for a lot of people, it's a recipe for running out of money while they're still very much alive. And finally, market shocks. What if she retires and the market drops right out the gate? We modelled a scenario where she started with 20% less than planned. The result? Her sustainable income plunges to about $34,000 after 75. That's not just trimming, that's a different retirement altogether. Now, the point here isn't to scare Sally or you, it's to show her the possible futures. The good, the bad, and the ugly. By running the what ifs now, she can see the risks clearly and plan for them before they ever become a problem. So, can Sally retire in 30 days with $1 million? The answer is yes, but not without a plan. In her base scenario, she falls short. At 64 grand a year, the money runs out at 87. Too risky. But a bit of part-time consulting for a few years, all downsizing that GTA home later in life, and everything changed. The numbers worked, she had real options. And that's the lesson here. $1 million on its own isn't a guarantee. It's just a number. What matters is how you structure it, how you stress test it, and whether you've got a roadmap that works in the real world. For Sally, that meant turning a shaky retirement into one she can step into with confidence. For you, it means the same thing. Don't get stuck on a magic number. Get a real plan in place. The free retirement guide in the pinned comment can help you get started today. Now, maybe you're watching this thinking, Chris, I don't have $1 million. I'm closer to 500,000. Don't worry, I've got you covered. Click right here and I'll show you exactly how far 500,000 will go in retirement.